hardest lessons come early. You can't trust anyone.
I never did have that father figure in my life. I never had a man to just step up and get on me and tell me what I was doing wrong.
My childhood was bleak.
Because I'd never known my father. My mother had been incarcerated.
My parents was separated.
You know, I was raised by my grandmother. She took care of me.
True enough, my mom was there for me. I love my mom. I know she loved me.
A lot of times we grew up in environments that we really don't have any control over.
No one is going to take care of me but me. You trust, you get burned.
Mom doing the best she can, so I just took matters into my own hands.
With that came me relying on the street life to take care of me, support me, love me, and that's what I was subjected to.
Right when I turned 16, I was in the streets. And I could never hold down a job at first initially. I can remember 1 year straight, every single day I was committing some type of crime.
Selling drugs.
At 3rd and Mallory, on the corner, with some dope in my pocket, ready to sell. $1,000 to $1,200. That's in one day.
Trust is a virtue you can't afford if you're gonna be in this game. You trust, you get caught.
When it was coming fast, I spent it just as fast as I got it.
I was a practicing drug addict.
No, I really didn't have my mind on nothing else but to get it however I can get it.
I turned to drugs to comfort myself.
Marijuana, cocaine, pills, and liquor.
You can't be a structured drug addict because the drug is not something that you can control. So you're out of control. The only time I was around anybody really was to scheme to continue practicing using drugs.
What I did most was rob.
In the neighborhood I come from, like a war zone, is everybody want power, they want their glory, and it's about drugs and money.
I got in some trouble.
And I was out drinking one night. See, they had a big square pool table in the back of the house. It was a crap game going on, and as we started gambling back there, I was losing my money, and it didn't seem right to me what was going on. Every time I shoot the dice, I'm throwing 7 right out the door. So that let me know the dice loaded, and I'm being cheated out my money.
I'm tired of learning this lesson. Maybe this time, it'll stick.
I put the magnet up on the table. I said, look, just give me my money back and I'm finna leave. Cocked it and put it to his head and told him, you either put my money up on the table, or I'm finna kill you in this house. Get my money, and I left out. He ended up swearing out a warrant on me. Later on that night, about 15 cars ended up coming over my mom's house.
All the time you feel it in your guts. You're gonna get caught.
Make a long story short, I ended up in prison.
Being a convicted felon.
They told me that I would never get past that 20-year sentence.
Ended up having to do 8 years.
I had to take the 10 and go ahead and get it behind me.
Time to think now about how he wasn't there for you, how you won't be there for him, how he won't be there for his kid. It's all so inevitable.
I always believed in God, but for us, how I thought about him, I never did just think about him that much.
In the back of my mind, God was there. You know, I just didn't want to have anything to do with him.
And right now, I'm on my hands and knees begging, please help me. I stayed locked up for 6 years.
And finally come time for me to come out.
I say I've changed, so what? Many others have said the same thing.
I had no idea what I was gonna do.
I was going on a couple interviews, trying to get jobs, but I was getting turned down because of my criminal background record.
I can't wipe the slate clean. They have the dirty slate on record, complete with a picture.
I have a family, but I didn't have a family that cared anything about me because for, 20 years I manipulated, and stole, and used and abused them.
What do you want?
Look, I just want my family.
You had your chance.
Mom?
Look, I just...
Who's at the door?
It's nobody, baby. Nobody.
No one trusts me. Not my family, not even me.
I feel, you know, they have the statistics saying that every 7 out of 10 that comes out of prison end up going back.
I wanted to change for a long time.
The world had too much of a hold on me.
But the things that I was involved in kept me tied to criminal activities.
I was always looking for a way out.
They say it's time to change. Am I desperate enough to believe I can? Am I desperate enough to really try?
Well, I've heard of this program called Economic Opportunity.
That would help convicted felons out of prison find employment.
So I later on got in contact with one of my relatives. He went and talked with Mr. Jim Kennedy.
He would give me a chance by introducing me to Jim.
He came and told me, if you're ready to do something positive for yourself and do what's right, he said, I'm ready to help you right now.
So we all need a second chance, don't we? My name is Jim Kennedy, and I'm the Director of Economic Opportunities, where we help desperate men be restored and become vibrant Christians and re-enter their community in a positive and constructive way. One of the biggest challenges that we face with Economic Opportunities participants is a trust factor.
The men, when they first come in, they're skeptical.
I didn't have any faith or, you know, any high hopes for the program.
This is just another program, just another handout, and no one really cares.
I figured it'd be just like most of the others.
I didn't want to take any instruction. I was actually ready to give up.
There's a huge trust factor. They don't even trust themselves. So the first thing that we start doing is helping them take responsibility for their past, to ask to be forgiven. And so we're going to start with a clean slate.
We want these men to have hope. Hope for a family, hope for a future for the families.
As we seek to disciple them through afternoon Bible studies and through doing financial classes with them that are biblically based.
It helps them to establish their financial goals, teaches them how to get out of debt. They write down everything they spend down to the 65-cent drink that they buy out of the Coke machine during lunch. They've got to balance out what's more important. What can I do to make it to where my finances balance out and I can pay my bills? One of the participants that we have was spending his money on bukus of alcohol. He realized where it was going and the money that he could have and what he could be getting with it. When he accepted Christ and he changed his lifestyle, it was like a light bulb went off in his head.
It was kind of hard for me. It was a struggle for me. But I actually prayed about it. I ready to listen to people who were trying to tell me something right. When Mr. Kennedy started talking with me, I started to adjust to what he was saying and realized that this man was really trying to help me.
As they realized that I went through not having a father and how I've turned to look to God to be my father, they start seeing how the Bible is relevant to their life. God is real, and He has a real impact on people's lives.
God just was waiting for me, and just this is what He presented me with to change my life.
And so we'll work with a company that we have a partnership with. An example of that is Barnhart Crane and Rigging.
As I walked through Barnhart, I said, this right here would be a dream come true to me.
They will start out doing basic things like running weed eaters, pushing lawnmowers.